Hello and welcome to the Two Brain Marketing Podcast. I am your host, Mateo Lopez. I'm one of the digital marketing mentors at Two Brain Business. Thanks for tuning in. This is your weekly dose of digital marketing magic. Every week we go over marketing campaign strategies, useful tips, and updates to keep you in the loop on the ever-changing landscape of advertising on the internet for your business. And in today's episode, we have a special guest, Kevin from CrossFit Chi-Rho. And we're going to learn about his experience and how he's managed to juggle and balance his full-time law practice and his gym. So, Kevin, thanks for joining us today.
It's my pleasure, Mateo.
And tell the people who are tuning in, tell us a little about you, where you're from, and your business.
Sure. Well, I'm married. My wife, Vicky, and I are both attorneys. We have 3 children, 10, 8, and 5, and we live in Clinton, Mississippi, which is about 12 miles west of our capital city of Jackson. The town is a population of about 35,000. So we've been practicing law for since 2001, so 17, 18 years. I've had my own law practice the entire time, and my wife has been in litigation prior to what she's doing now. Currently she's in administration for our church, which gives her some flexibility to manage the kids, and so she's got a full-time job and I have a full-time job. I am also the city prosecutor for the city. So
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So I wear several hats, and it keeps us very, very busy, especially with taking on the gym, which, when we started out, all we had to do was purchase it and it was going to run itself, right?
Right. Yeah. So how did that happen? How did you go from, you're still a city how did you go from wearing all these hats to, yeah, you know what? Let's add one more thing to my plate.
That's all we needed. Well, what happened there? We've been members of our gym. It was in existence prior to us purchasing. We were members for about 7 or 8 years. We, totally bought into the CrossFit methodology. We loved it. We loved the community, and the prior owner felt led to go another direction and was ready to get out of it. So the gym was declining because he was doing other things, and he's a good friend and did a great thing in starting the gym. But he was ready to get out, and we said, well, hey, we love it. Let's make sure we keep it going so we have a place to continue what we love. And in August of 2017, we purchased it.
And wouldn't it have been cheaper just to hire him as your personal trainer and call it a day? Wouldn't that have been the cheaper route?
You bet. Yeah, that would have been way cheaper. But I tell you what, the things that I've learned are invaluable. And if this had not happened, my wife and I would not have found Two Brain, and the lessons that we've learned have not just helped us with the gym, they've also greatly helped us with our other businesses, my law practice and my wife's management of time. So it's been a blessing, even though life is very busy right now.
That's awesome. That's amazing. So when you purchased the gym, well, I guess first thing I want to ask is, there are a lot of people, especially now as CrossFit's been around in the US at least for a good while now. Some of the people who opened gyms, started it, were the pioneers. You see a lot of people selling their gyms, and so there are a lot of people who are trying to get in the game and buying and purchasing gyms like you did. So do you have any advice for someone who's thinking about purchasing an existing fitness business?
I think I do, Mateo, and I know there's other podcasts where you talk to people about the proper process of purchasing a gym, and we did not do that, which is okay because we basically bought the equipment. So it wasn't a huge investment. Did we know what we were getting into? Absolutely not. We thought, well, we're attorneys. We've been running our own practices. We can handle this, no problem. And I'm going to jump back and kind of walk you through how that went. When we purchased it in August of 17, it was not an affiliated, CrossFit affiliated gym. The membership had gone from a high of probably 200 members. We've got a big space, 7,500 square feet, a little bit more. Good population in town, lots of people to draw through. So it had gone from 200 or so folks at the highest point to when we purchased it, probably 60 members. And we took over and started getting things in line. I scrambled to get my L1, scrambled to find the name that we wanted for the gym, get affiliated with CrossFit, got all that done. And in that time, started to see the problems that we were having. Mainly, the income of the gym was not covering the expenses, right? So I was listening to podcasts, and I happened to be on a CrossFit podcast, CrossFit Inc. podcast that Chris Cooper was on. And he started talking about Two Brain. And I said, okay, I'm going to call. So this is what we need. We were led to talk to him, I feel like. So I called him and talked to Chris, and he felt like we could use his help, and understood what we were going through, and hooked me up with Jeff Smith. So my wife and I started the incubator in January of 2018. So we had about 4 months with no guidance, and started the incubator then. Went through that from January to April of 2018. So it took us about 4 months to get through that. And keep in mind that the process has been slower for us because we have so many other hats and things we're trying to balance. But that's okay. We got through that initial period. Got the systems in place. Started to get them in place. Were they perfect? No. And that's a problem that I had, is I felt like, these systems have got to be perfect. And I would spend lots and lots of time, we got to do this, is this right? Always questioning. But Jeff got me through that. You just have to get something in place, and we can modify those as we grow. So we got the systems in place, and got on got with Two Brain Growth after that, and I've been with them ever since. Worked with Jeff for several more months, still getting the systems to where they needed to be. We didn't even have an on-ramp program. We didn't have any kind of sales process. It was all just, we're going to get this. People are just going to come in the door, and as well as I do that it doesn't work that way anymore. And through the process of implementing all of these systems, we lost members. These were old original members that started with me. So I don't know if they, just had a problem paying someone that was by their side working out for so long, or they didn't like the change. We know no one likes change. We understand that. So we lost almost all. We may have a handful of those original guys and girls that were with us. So our ultimate goal here is to get the business running on its own, right? Where we can step away, and we can be in that tinker phase, and we can come in and just work out if we want to, or just do the marketing or whatever it is. So that's what we're working towards. So we were at the point, once we got the systems in, where we needed to grow, and enter Mateo and Blake. And so I called you guys. It was October, I think, when we got started on this, maybe just before September or October of 2018. And I signed up for the marketing incubator. And understand, I'm getting a little older. I'm not as tech savvy as you guys. So I went through the process, and we did exactly what you said. We really didn't deviate much at all. And it wasn't perfect. You know, we went through and we got the marketing videos and the landing pages, and you guys guided us through that. So it gave me some insight as to how it works. Can I get on there and do that right now on my own? No. And I'm sure there's a lot of people like that out there, and that's okay. But you helped me through it. We got the system in place and started the Facebook advertising with the 6-week challenges. And basically that's what we're doing now. We haven't changed it much. We changed the pictures. We tweaked the language just a little bit. And so, you know, I listened to one of your podcasts yesterday, and I can't remember the guy's name, but, you know, they made $200,000, and, you know, we're not there, but we've invested $3,000 in the advertising since we started, and the front end revenue on that's about 20 grand.
Wow, that's great.
I don't care who you are or how much you know, that's really good return on investment.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that's awesome. And I think also too, like for almost every other industry, you don't really see those kinds of returns. Like most people are happy just breaking even on customer acquisition costs. You know, the fact that you can profit from the get is, I think, pretty spectacular.
Right, and that doesn't count the members that stick around.
Exactly.
And, you know, stay and pay those monthly memberships. And, you know, when we started and we took over the gym, the membership rates were $50 a month, $70. You know, they were across the board. There were discounts everywhere. And now, I don't have an exact number of what our average revenue per member is. I just don't have time to I know what's going on, but I need to focus on that, and I think it's important, but I just don't have the time to really micromanage that yet. But I know what people are spending, and it's well over $150 probably average per member now. So much, much better than it was.
That's great, man. I want to go back a step because so when you first purchased the gym, was there a staff in place, or did you have to like cover a lot of classes yourself?
Yeah, well, I didn't have to cover a lot of classes myself. I did cover some, but we had some staff in place, mainly just coaches. There was no general manager, there was no head coach, nothing like that. So our coaches have changed immensely. The way we train our coaches has changed immensely. We have a head coach now that manages the coaches, and he does a great job. We recently, I went through the process of training someone to handle the lead nurturing process, the sales process, and he was also personal trainer and was doing just great. Unfortunately, and so I was getting to that point of I was seeing through the trees to that tinker area up top, right? And he left. He moved to another state. So no bad blood there, but what that did was slide me back into that sales role. So the good part of that is I learned how to train someone to do it, and I can do it again. I just have to find the right person for that slot.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. I think you said exactly right. You had a first go around. He moved states, which is fine. But now you kind of have a little bit of an SOP, a little standard operating procedure for that next person that comes your way. You can train them up and get them up and running pretty efficiently. So it sounds like you were fortunate enough that you didn't really have to, so a lot of people when they buy gyms, they have to coach all the classes, wear all the hats, and then level all the way out. You were able to keep kind of the existing infrastructure in place, it sounds like, and then develop the team that you had and put that managerial level in between you eventually. So how are you able to do that? A lot of people struggle with that. What were the conversations that were had with the existing staff? Or hey, we're changing direction. This is what we're going to do now. How did you find that person to be that manager in between you and the coaches? Tell us a little bit about that if you can.
Yeah, and we're not quite there yet, and that took some time. So initially, once we started to get the systems into place, we have coaches meetings every 2 weeks, and I was constantly talking to them about what we're doing, and they all bought in. But it was also an opportunity for me to see the level of service that I want from my coaches, and some of them just weren't there, and that didn't work out. So, they ended up leaving, and we just were blessed with people that would come in at the right time and say, hey, I'm looking to coach. I have my L1, and that person fit perfect, and we move them into the spot. And as we've gone through the process, and just knowing our people and observing our people to see who's in the right spot, we were able to get a head coach in place. Now, what I'm working towards is getting the general manager in place. We're still in that growth phase where we've got to get our revenue up to a certain point where I can afford to pay that general manager to handle a lot of the stuff that I'm doing. And I want to jump back a little bit, because you asked me earlier, how can I manage a law practice and do this? Well, for the first year, my law practice suffered. I haven't been doing the marketing for that. I wasn't able, it's maintained, but I really focused on this. And that was probably a mistake, and something that Jeff and I'm working with Brian Strump now, who's awesome too. Both of them said, look, you got to manage your time better and block time. So I've gotten better. I'm not perfect, but, spend some time every day working on the law practice, and don't get distracted by everything coming in from the gym. So that's kind of where we are. We're not there yet. We're getting there, and slowly but surely, and I attribute that to you guys and Brian and Jeff. I probably know what to do. I understand what I've got to do, but taking the action and discussing it with someone else and having them say, hey, just do this first, really, really helps.
And so, you're still working through the process. You're still growing. You're still leveling up and learning to manage your time and grow both your businesses at the same time. But I think it sounds like you've had a lot of success, and just the fact that you've been able to take a gym that was charging $50 a month per membership to, well over 150, that you've created new positions for people, head coaching position. You're looking for a manager position now. You're still growing. I think you've seen a lot of success and growth so far. And you touched on it a little bit just now, but what do you think has been the key to your success so far? It sounds like you were talking about the guidance and the mentorship. But yeah, in your own words, what do you think has been the key to your success?
Well, I do think it's the mentorship, just having somebody to back, and I've always been that way. Even with my law practice, I found an older attorney and worked with him and went to him with any questions I had. So I've always kind of been in that mindset. And so it was a natural progression to do that with the gym as well. But let me tell you this, what I've learned through this process, because they don't teach you how to be a business person in law school. I suspect it's the same for other professions as well.
They don't teach you how to be a business person at the level 1 either.
No, they don't. So what I've learned through Two Brain for the gym, I'm also transitioning into the law firm. The Facebook marketing is different for the clients that I have in the law practice, and probably for other people with other businesses too. If it's a service-based industry that's similar to this, great. I hope it works, because there's nothing better for marketing for the gym. For the law practice, it's a little different, and we're still working through that. But what I've learned and what seems to be working right now is affinity marketing with other lawyers. So because of what I've learned through y'all, I'm sending out quasi love letters to all my attorney associates that I know out there, and telling them what I do and trying to help them with their law practice first, and then saying, hey, this is what I do. If you need some help with it, let me know. And I'm starting to get referrals from them. So, it's helped with the law business. It's, me doing roles and tasks there and working through the incubator stuff kind of on my own with that, just like it's helped with the gym. So, the people that have other businesses and other practices that they're trying to do at the same time as the gym, I think it's important that you mirror what you're doing with the gym, because it's really best practices, right?
That's awesome. That's great, man. I think I don't think I could have said it better myself. I think, yeah, having a staff handbook, it applies to any business, having roles and tasks, any business. Well, great, Kevin. Thanks for hopping on today. If people want to talk to you, where can they find you?
Well, our website is CrossFitChi-Rho.com. That's ChiRho. And my cell phone, I'm glad to give it out. I give it out to everybody. 601-750-0070.
Wow, you're braver than I am.
Facebook. Yeah, I don't hide it. I give it to all my clients. Anybody that needs it, just call me there. And hey, I want to say my wife is a big part of this. And there's certain struggles there when you're trying to differentiate your roles. But she's our joy person right now. She sends out the welcome gifts. She sends out the written cards and does a great job with that. And she also manages all of our new memberships and payments. So, we're really work together on this. I wouldn't have been able to get through what I do if she wasn't doing what she does, and the same vice versa. So
I think we'll have to have a separate episode, how to run a business with your spouse. I think
right.
that's its own handbook. Its own episode.
Right.
Awesome. Well, thank you, man. And looking forward to seeing what the rest of 2019 holds for you.